shouldn't expect. Yeah, if you start chatting, I'm probably going to ignore you for a minute because I'm doing something. You, what am I doing? No. Boy, I haven't done this for a while. What is live chat app memory? I don't fucking know. Is that new? I'll play some music. If you don't like it, I don't care. I'm in a mood. Oh, got a thumb up. Thank you, whoever it is. Mighty kind. Hey, Daniel. Should have known it was Daniel. Daniel shows up. Yeah, trying to get my mental health together, and it's yeah, it is Friday. I like Fridays for that means management goes away. It doesn't make any difference. It just I want to hide from people, even though it's no reason to hide. There we go. Music. I can do that. The Shangri-Las, people. If you don't like the Shangri-Las, you got problems. You need to get some help. Get some rock and roll in your life. Girl groups. It's all about I love girl groups. You best believe I love WMD. It's one of the best of the best. I think I like this better than the Ronettes. I know that's not allowed to say that, but yeah, Ronettes are great. But how many kids do they have? 2. Why I'm being negative. And I love Ronnie Spector. If I go back in time and it was age appropriate, I'd fall madly in love with her and save her from Phil Spector. I just beat the shit out of Phil Spector. Steals a wig, poop on his porch. Yeah, Phil. Even though you're dead, I'm still mad at you. Because Ronnie was too beautiful for this world. She was almost as beautiful as Debbie Harry. And that's some good company, people. Oh, I got 3 thumbs up. Wow, man. Okay, Daniel's here, which makes me very happy. A couple more people that makes me very happy. It's a very short list of people who always make me happy. Quite few. Daniel is one of the elite. Definitely. Yeah. Top 10. Daniel's easily in the top 10. Lambrina girls, when you get a chance. Do me a favor, 16, because I really want to check it out. Comment on one of my videos and say, hey, idiot, listen to my album band, and I will. Lambrini. I like that. There was a band called the Lambrettas. I don't know if you ever heard. The Lambrettas were like a scooter. Not saying you're, but yeah. 16. I support the people who are, because I've never had a clinker. The people who recommend stuff to me, they know what they're talking about, especially if it's their own stuff. Oh, absolutely. I'm an instant fan. You know, I'll comment on everything you do and tell you how wonderful you are. Not that my opinion matters at all, but I'll express it anyway. Who can't be in what? The B-52 stole their hairstyles from this, which is a good thing. Yeah, the B-52 hairstyle was more 60s and 50s. My mom had a beehive throughout my childhood. We had to stop her from doing that in about 1975. Like, number 1, get rid of the cat's eyes glasses, and number 2, get rid of the beehive. Now to be, she went back to that. Well, she's dead now, but she would have been instant cool again. She'd been like Betty White, sort of. And so my mom was a lot meaner than Betty. I should have talked to her last year. She was alive, but I couldn't. That would have been hypocrisy of the first water. I don't know if anybody does. You go through. I've gone through all of my memories I've ever had. I mean, trust me. There's a 2-year period where I worked in a metal shop and I could think while I worked all the time, and there's no media. You get to go through every idea you've ever had and every memory, every one of them. And it continues forever until you come to the point where, well, my life was interesting, but my childhood sucked. That's not their fault. People suck, but I'm not going to declare my parents heroes because they're my parents. There's some cool parts, but they were different. They were unique. You know, they didn't beat us up. They fed us really well. My mom fed us really well. However, my mom was a queen of psychological warfare. She should have worked for the North Koreans. She would have done a great job. Yeah, I loved her. She and I were a lot alike, sadly enough. I think that's genetic as opposed to predisposition. She was a very smart, aware woman, very canny. Well, 16, it's never gonna go away. Oh yeah. A long time ago, I taught myself is a really weird writing exercise, which you should never do. Don't do it. Learn to write simultaneously as fast as you can write, fast as you can write, fast as you can write, fast as you can think. And what happens is, well, there's no such thing as a subconscious mind, but you get in touch with the part of your brain that thinks really fast. So suddenly you're onto yourself, and then you realize what a maw of madness. And I was already crazy, but that didn't make it any better. I used to write really fast when I was on Benzedrine. Writing on pot, even Ellen, which Jack Kerouac would agree, smoking pot and writing is useless. Don't do it. Good for you, 16. That's why I get along. It's pretty crazy too. Oh, do the little crown thing. That's new. Good. Now, 16. I imagine you're probably good at it, and I don't say that to very many people because learning to write. I never published. None of my stuff still exists, but I was a good writer. I worked myself up to decades to be able to write one good sentence on occasion. That's what it comes down to. One, let's call it golden sentence. And you're the only one who knows that this sentence is perfect. I've done a couple great paragraphs. Yeah, don't turn it off because I like it. 16. I want people to compete with the crown, so which they're not going to do. But I have 5 people listening to this. Is great, and you guys are cheering me up. And I've been in an awful state of mind. Last couple of days have been really rough on the old skilled. So, I mean, bad. It's just nothing I could do to help it. Just syllogisms in my head. Excuse me, and going through with rotten people's things have said to me recently, and that's horrible because I'm not supposed to do that. I can't. No, 16. Actually, people, you can turn it off. You have to go and do it. I haven't been able to do it. There's a way on Google that you can do it, but because a lot of people did it, and it was awful. Like, I like the crowns. It bugged me at first. I didn't know what they were about, but then I realized it's kind of fun. Yeah, 16. You can do that elsewhere, but don't do it. Don't do it to me, because I'm almost feeling fragile lately, and I'm not. Yeah. What tipped me off is my friend Tow Truck Tony, who I really love. I love Tow Truck Tony. I have a picture of him somewhere. He's a big bearded guy. He looks like a psycho biker. Big and mean, but he's not. But he thinks he's this big intellectual, but he can't phrase a syllogism. He can't do a proper debate. He's not fun. Tow Truck Tony, well, he wasn't really a tow truck driver. He had one of those trucks where you give people gas if they need it, and you give them a John Sharp. But yeah, he was like he was an alcoholic, absolutely mentally ill tow truck guy, and he cracked up. He couldn't do his job anymore. I mean, he really cracked up. I didn't see him for a couple of years. And he went crazy about the time I was really going crazy. So we understood that. We both knew we were crazy. Like something bad's going to happen to us. This is not good. We're going down. But anyway, he doesn't know how to do a proper debate. Doesn't get to do a syllogism. And he tries to explain everything with physics, which, I understand physics is a great thing. I understand it's a valid thing, but it's also absolutely theoretical now, and really, to most extent, useless. I hate to say it, but what discoveries are we going to get? Well, we have technologies. We have enough technology, and we have too much of it. It needs to go away. We have all the communication that we're ever going to need. Engineering's doing itself. There's no breakthroughs. It's just happening. And this happened a long time for AI. AI is just overrated, and it's not a problem. Just don't even think it is. Because people need to get smart enough to catch up with it. Yes, people are lazy as opposed to AI doing this wonderful thing. I like AI for the fact that it makes audiobooks much easier, and there are more of them. And I don't read so well no more after the stroke. I can, but I can't. So I listen to audiobooks at least a couple hours a day. It was 10 hours yesterday because I really needed it. It was, God, I can't remember her names. It was William Shirer, who wrote the Rise and Fall of the Third Reich. X16 is a great, it's one of the best things that ever happened to the internet. And yeah, there are a lot of shitty things about the internet. My ex goes on about how horrible it is, but there's just so much great stuff. Oh, geez. One thing, YouTube is just getting really thick with the ads. I don't know how to put money on my YouTube account. I got to figure it out because I can't even put it on my Google. My bank kicked it off somehow. But I would definitely spring for premium YouTube in a heartbeat. I'm going to see if my account goes through so I can actually, I'll try that later. Tomorrow, maybe. I already got one thing done today, so I'm not going to do any more besides this. I'm going to skip this song just because I want to. One of the best songs ever. I've heard women said we're underrepresented in rock and roll. Well, that wasn't the case for a long time, and girls needed to make better music. Just a lot of them made it. Patti Smith, a million punk rock girls bands in the 70s, lots and lots. Blondie, and then my heart was horrible. Yeah, 16. Yeah, I love girl groups. My friend Deacon Joe, if he finds them, he texts them to me. Like, hopefully, it's a good girls group. What do you think, Seal? Do you like it? Yeah. Plus, not in a pervy way, but I like looking at girls. Yeah, not open. They're young, not in a pervy way, but they're aesthetically pleasing. So, especially when they go overboard on the makeup. It's great for music, but in real life, not so great. Unless you're a goth girl, then or goth woman. I'll check that out. 16. Muppet. Do you like Jinx Dawson from? No, I don't know who that is. Sorry. I'm behind. I'm retarded. Totally Phil Spector here. Speaking of Phil Spector. You ever want to do something fun is listen to Phil Spector music on a good stereo and then listen to it on a bad stereo, and you'll realize a bad stereo is so much better because he recorded it to make sound good on a car radio. Most people don't know that. So if you get a car radio and listen to Phil Spector, stuff's great. And I remember AM. Oh, Jinx Dawson? Do me a favor and comment on one of my videos. I'm gonna find that. I can tell already that I like it. Yeah, because I'm going to. I can't think of a real a bad female rock singer from the 60s. I can't think of one. A bunch of good ones. One of the British ones are all kinds of women in rock and roll in the 60s that Americans have never heard. It's all about the damn Beatles. So, sorry, girls, when you're in love with the Fab Four, you're really shooting yourself in the foot by not supporting the women because they were great. Beatles are great, but only in the matrix of a whole bunch of other bands. Rock and roll, Rolling Stones were kind of overrated. The Who was much better than the Stones. You can't go wrong listening to the Who. Who is so weird. I know. It's like Townsend was a pervert. I don't fucking care. I like the music. I'm not boycotting his music, but I've never given him a dime of my money. I've gotten everything for free. So that's all you can do is not support people financially and listen to whatever you want. Gary Glitter, biggest pervert walking. Terrible man. I love his music. It's so stupid. That's what he did in the 70s. He's just kind of this weird, Elvis Presley gone glitter guy. And just he had so many loyal fans in England. I think mostly Jodies and what's the word for oh, thank you, Noctis. UK, right on. You know more Brits. I'm assuming you're British. Scotland is included, but like Scots too. Okay, that just needs to be a mod because all you got to do is flatter me. Look, guess what? There, Noctis is a mod. Right on. Just that easy. Because I say so. All right. Who else is missing here? I smoke. Get over it. I'm last of those cool smokers. I'm never going to quit smoking. I want it to kill me. It's been my friend forever, smoking. I've gotten more pleasure and satisfaction from cigarettes than I ever got from sex. So, and they go together anyway. I'm not going to go. I'm not allowed to talk about sex because I don't do that anymore because sex is dirty, disgusting, hippie nonsense, to misquote the Johnny Rotten clone from Sid and Nancy. That movie's hilarious. So inaccurate, but yeah, I'm babbling. Oh my God. Where's Wander? She's one who tells me to correct my grooming. And where's fake me? Oh, that's right. I haven't been on for ages. So, yeah, well, people do show up. A couple good people are showing up. That's all that matters. What time is that? Okay. I gotta stick to my schedule so I don't burn myself out. And plus, yeah, my insanity is pretty much flaring up. So they start getting me weirder. Some you know. And I'll go off. I'm cooking like crazy. Noctis, well put. That's about right. So, I think it was Bukowski who said, find what you love and let it kill you. Bukowski. I love that guy. His poetry was better than his novels. His poetry, except for his last book of poems, was awful. He released it posthumously because he knew it was awful, but his heirs would get the money for publication. So his last book was terrible. You could tell it was just the worst. Great poetry, because I think it was just a compilation of stuff that should have been thrown away forever. Which is funny because I have a completely vanished published book of poetry. I forgot about that. The poems are awful. I wrote them as street poetry because I was trying to make money from tourists, and they liked the crap, and it's just awful. I can't even remember any of it, and I don't want to. Yeah. I never got an ISBN on it, so you can't find it. It doesn't exist. I don't know anybody who has a copy of it. I sure as hell don't. I don't want it. Kryptonite. I think my friend Joe does. I think he has it. If he does, I'm not going to ask him. He might send it to me. Nah, he's not that mean. Yeah. What I need to do is, names are eluding me. I read some Thomas Merton not that long ago. Yeah, no, Catholic monk, get over it, but he's just a great philosopher. His translation and his notes on Taoism are spectacular. Yeah, it doesn't even have a real Catholic slant. It's great. So I recommend it. And a whole lot of atheist Taoists will agree that he may have been a monk, but he's still the best. I want to listen to. Yeah, well, I'm going to skip ahead. God, the lottery. The biggest scam is voting. Yeah. See what voting got the United States. I'm not going to go on about politics, but we're not in good shape. We're more embarrassing than we've ever been. Being a moderate bully is one thing, but just being a laughing stock is another one. It's like being a stupid bully. God, I haven't listened to this album so long. So huge. All the wrong people loved it, but I loved it anyway. Middle class university kids liked it. All the cocaine wannabes from the early 80s. Interesting. I used to exploit those people for fun and profit. Sell them bunk drugs, steal their beer. Then I started dating one. She destroyed me. Yeah, she destroyed me more than I destroyed her. But there was some destruction there. I ended up in county jail over her. You're not going to hear the story. She and I got no communication, and we apologized to each other. God, we are terrible. What do we do to each other and other people too? It was okay when it was mutual destruction, but civilians. Thanks to her, I moved to Tucson, Arizona, and I'm telling you, people, never leave the country or a state for a woman or any kind of maid. Don't do that, because it's never going to turn out well. So I ended up in Canada, and she was one of the best women I've ever had the privilege of even knowing, but it just didn't work. Canada didn't work for me, and then I got deported from Canada. Deported, mind you. I got thrown out of the country. I'm actually kind of proud of that. Nick, that's about right. And people are so deathly afraid of, escaping from the boundaries of their thought, playing devil's advocate, having fun with thoughts, exploring stuff that is now forbidden. Just tolerating stuff without accepting people should be all right. Noctis, yeah. By the time you understand women, it's too late. Yeah, I have a lot of respect for women. I really do. One of my best friends on earth is my ex, my longest term relationship. We get along in levels. Yeah, we're a bad couple. We don't live together. We're only in person with each other like once a month. There's no romance there because that doesn't happen. She finally figured out that I wasn't that bad of a guy. It turned out to be an excess. But she was addicted with her family, and I was addicted to alcohol. Both are family and alcohol are equally bad. In some family, but being enmeshed in your family makes everybody stupider and meaner. Families turn into religious cults really quickly. I couldn't stand it. In-laws. I think only 2 people in our entire family treated me with any respect and affection. Everybody else hated me and dismissed me as a giant loser. In fact, one of the daughters mentioned me. I was a chapter of her novel, and it wasn't exactly a nice thing. She even insulted my mentally ill brother. That's my job. I insult him, but nobody else is allowed to, because I have my reasons. She never even met the guy.
You know how we all have that one friend we go to with all our financial questions?
And the girlfriend liked him.
Yeah.
There's that. I'm not gonna. Oh God, I've rehashed that so many fucking times. I hate myself for that, but this is what I do. Shock treatment or lobotomy or something. Make it any better. Athens, Georgia. That's where REM came from, and B-52s are a lot better than REM. Sorry. This is pure pop for now, people. Spanish. Totally original, and no. Yoko was not a big influence on the B-52s, as much as John Lennon thought it was. John Lennon's last part of his career, he was terrible. Last album was awful. I'm sorry. Double Fantasy is one of the worst pieces of garbage I ever listened to. I insulted it before it died. Everyone agreed with me. Something John Lennon died, and it was great. Everything he did solid gold. Yeah, listen to Working Class Hero. Oh, that one Beatles song where he tells a woman, if you leave me, I'm going to kill you. Actually, but not just, yeah, it brings up the worst common denominator in a family. I've seen that happen a bunch of times. And now that parents are kowtowing to kids, parents want to be taught by the kids exclusively. Yeah. Yeah, Noctis, I just couldn't do that because of autism and shit. I tried to expectations, but I failed miserably at that. I failed miserably as being a human being. Now I'm a Martian. I'm happy about it. Once I realized I wasn't alone, there are a whole bunch of really cool weirdos like me. Well, about half of them ended up killing themselves, but there's that. It's Darwinian. That's not Darwinian. It's just mean. No, I'm allowed to insult my people. We the people who shouldn't vote. Because we'll just vote for dead people or cartoon characters. I've been in my head playing clips from 1960s cartoons like Underdog, Rocky and Bullwinkle, and other stuff like that. It was just really poorly drawn cartoons. The animation was all done in Mexico, which explains the quality of the animation. Not that again, Mexico. I look Mexican flag over there. My chosen people, but they weren't the best animators in the world. Probably better now, but Bullwinkle, one of his antlers would be missing, or everything would change about his head would change. Great. But the script was so good for that show, and Dudley Do Right was great. If you ever want to slag on Canadians, Dudley Do Right is it. And that show was banned in Canada for quite some time for insulting Mounties. And one thing you got to realize, officially, there's no freedom of speech in Canada. None. Yeah, censorship is condoned. When I was there, I found out at being a loud American, I would just try to get a laugh out of Canadians, and they took everything literally. They thought I was just crazy and zany, the kind of conversations I would have with fellow Californians. Yeah. I like you, Noctis. You're a good thinker. Yeah. It's like you're finishing my thoughts for me, which may not be flattering to you. Great cover. Maybe one of the greatest party albums of all time. I know Lindbergher. What does that mean? And about the time this came out, the Police were all the rage, which I liked at first, and I learned to despise the Police and can't stand Sting to this day. He was great in Quadrophenia. That's where it ends. Because he was playing himself. Yeah, Noctis, we're losing that from both directions, from the right and the left. Well, there's no right and there's no left. There are no conservatives left. And no truly liberal human beings. And anyway, I'm a Catholic social democrat, so I'm both conservative and really right or left ring on the other side. So yeah, I'm a Catholic, so what? Get over it. That's my mantra. That's what I am. Wasn't raised Catholic. I converted. I converted when I was in my 50s. Good decision. I need to go back to mass, which I'm bad at, but yeah, I'm a monastic Catholic. I don't get involved in the politics of the faith. You know, the meditations, the great thinking come from the church, but yeah. It makes me really suspicious of the English as opposed to the British. But we had J.R.R. Tolkien was a staunch Catholic. A lot of the Lord of the Rings, it's Catholicism. It really is. It's infused. If somebody's so infused in their face, it's going to come out. God. And G.K. Chesterton. I don't know, not to see. You've never read any G.K. Chesterton? Check out his stuff on his book on paganism is hilarious. He's one of the funniest people in history. Late 19th century, early 20th century, I believe. Yeah, he's just zany. He's as witty as George Orwell, and George Orwell his essays are that's through the ceiling, funny and good. And just what you're going through is called aridity, which means, yeah, you may not feeling the faith, but it is there. You have to have faith that it will return, and it will. Mother Teresa had the same problem. She didn't feel the faith, the presence directly, but she knew the faith was there. So it's not always this happy high of the faith. It's there. And it still works in your thinking. Intellectually, you can say, yeah. I'm not pushing it on you, Noctis, but it's worth looking at it into aridity. Look into it. And again, I'm not here to proselytize, but if you're raised Catholic, yeah, I'm allowed to. You boy, come back to the church. Mother Church is waiting for you. Avoid the politics of the church. No, you get away from that. Read the scholarship. You're safe there.
Join the more than 7 million adults who have taken Ozempic.
What's going on? See you, man. Not paying attention. Okay. The Portuguese. Now, Noctis. I tried listening to Noctis. Noctis, yeah, it's probably a good time for you to do that. Really good time to do that. We reach an age where we're supposed to complete our thoughts and at least fill in the gaps with our self-education, because self-education is everything. I mean, universities, it's fine. It's a starting point. It's like becoming a converted Catholic, confirmed Catholic. This one's supposed to start. Your education starts then, especially about an 18 should. Yeah. Again, that goes for academia. That goes for faith. It goes for about everything. But you should, if you lost the thread, pick it back up. It's still there. It'll wake up. You never really forget anything, but you need to brush up on it. So that's where a lot of college graduates lose it, because I read in college, but I got tired of reading. Your education's incomplete. It's nice. You got yourself a really, nifty diploma, but do something with it. And beyond your area study, hopefully, well, you got a trade from it. My friend Joe, who's actually became a deacon in the church, got an education in the classics, in Latin and Greek, and he never had a desire to be a teacher, which is all you could do with it. He just wanted to be educated, far more educated than I am. But we play off each other. And I respected that so much that he just wanted to be a fully educated Renaissance man. And he was raised by a lower middle class household where it wasn't the best place on earth, and there's not a lot of intellectual stimulation. Now he's married to a woman who has a Ivy League education. She was raised upper middle class. He understands her, but she doesn't understand. Yeah. Money can't buy poverty. Figure that out. Yeah, money cannot buy poverty. I've been poverty poor all my life. I feel rich now because my rent is paid. I'm on the dole, and I have a couple extra bucks to lock my luxuries. Invested heavily into really small solar energy stuff, which I don't even need. I like it. I buy my extra stuff because she has a complete community garden that she does all by all herself. So I buy her stuff for that, and I help her out because it's a really neat garden, and she's doing the world a favor. So I'll support that. She's very good at what she does. She's a better artist than she thinks she is. Stoicism is a weird thing, and that's you got to pull yourself out of that really quickly. You really have to, because it's deeply flawed. Well, it's like existentialism is deeply flawed. And then branching into communism, Marxism stuff, that's so it was bad education. It was bad study, bad research. It was horrible. It would never work because it was awful. Just the views on sociology would never work because it would absolutely oppose human nature, with just dehumanizing people. And look at China. China's just mutated into whatever China became. Chinese politics in general is always bad. It was bad. It was a wreck. No. They're the ones who ruined Vietnam for Vietnam. Vietnam's one of the mother cultures of the world. Their views on religion is stunning. They were Buddhists before the Chinese were exposed for Buddhism. And I'm not going to go into more stuff, but I studied the early Vietnamese faith, church, whatever you call it. And it was just, there's nothing like it. There's nothing that good. And they were never forced to become Catholics. They liked it. It dovetailed. And like the Irish, the same. When the Irish became Catholics, there was never, at that point, when St. Patrick was rolling in, there was no forced conversion. I don't care what you think. It's absolutely true. Documented reasonably well. But I see, sorry, Noctis, you're making me spout my faith. And I swore I wouldn't do it anymore. I'll lose friends. No, by the way, this is my grail of coffee. It seldom gets cleaned, and it's just a Pyrex measuring cup. It's the best cup in the world. Look at the handle. Perfect size. Yep. Sturdy, hard to break. And it's also a measuring cup. It's got a spigot. So you can actually, I keep forgetting it can be used for that. But, and not just, you explore everything. If you're curious about it, dive into it. Makes life so much better, doesn't it? It just makes life sparkle more. Even if, and probably almost, especially if nobody really wants to hear about it, but you do, because you're going to be more engaged. And then people spout anything that you know better than, you can spout right back. You're wrong, I'm sorry. And give them a syllogism. you don't have syllogism, you have no right to be discussing things. Knowing what a syllogism is and knowing what scientific method is are both important. And Socratic reasoning, those are vitally important. They're easy to learn, and people still don't bother. People with educations don't bother with it. Or logical fallacies. These are the only universal languages. This algebraic form of thinking. It's the only way I can come up with it. And yeah. So. My friend tow truck Tony never understands. Like, yeah, what different cultures? No, there are things that transcend different cultures. There's some verities. There are universal truths that most people embrace. He'll go the outliers. Well, they're outliers. They're outliers. But talking about people in Borneo or North Korea. North Korea is a lot cooler. Well, Borneo is a hell pit, but sociologically, it's much better than North Korea. But there's something riveting about cannibalism, which people claim that it's not happening in Borneo. Yeah, it is. In New Guinea, that's never going away. How do we know? Nobody won't go to the jungles because they can come out alive. Like Burma, same. Noctis, are we related? This is stuff I used to spend my life. My friend Deacon Joe, same. Like, yeah, the fact you put yourself in the context, that's great. Yeah. I used to never travel without a book or three. Usually I'd be in the middle of 3 books, not simultaneous, but over the course of a day. Yeah, the First World War. Yeah, I would like to see that cemetery because, yeah. Yeah, Noctis is great, but it's good to have a grounding in. Death is not our enemy, but we don't want to hurry there. And I'm pretty much sure the soldiers who died would probably say, no, I would rather have been alive for a little longer. But I've always had suicidal ideation. Faith cured that. I'm not allowed to do that anymore. And I was always a Christian to a degree, so I was never allowed to do that. But it was always there. I tried in sneaky ways, like drinking my death to death a couple times, and I didn't quite die, but I came close, so close to die. And it was cracking jokes while I was dying. In the ambulance, I was still cracking jokes. I'm very pleased with myself. I don't want to bum you out, even though I'm dying. So making the ambulance people laugh. I'm close to flatlining. Yeah, something very Irish about that, which I'm not. I'm strictly American, it's mostly Californian, so I'm not going to go with genetic. I thought I was Irish for a while. My ex-wife taught me a lot about Ireland and Irish history, so I absorbed a lot about that. Yeah, I'm just I don't know. I like to think that I'm doing something good, but I never want to know what it is. That's very Catholic. I don't know. Nothing I do is going to be good. That's about myself, but it's something to do with God or something with just charity in general. I'm doing okay. Yeah, Noctis. Well, life is not hard for me because, man, I lived in the streets. I lived in the woods for a long time. It was a horrible life, but I lived through it. Now I have a roof over my head. I got plenty of food. I have my basic physical needs are met. So I will never complain about that. I'm doing better now than I've ever done in my entire life, being just on the dole. Because, well, I didn't ask to go on Social Security. I had to apply for it for something else, and they gave me Social Security checks immediately, and I didn't even ask for them. I went on the dole accidentally. It's true. The woman, I told her the truth, and I wasn't being grim. So that's how my life went along. Just, God, this boy's a wreck. And that was kind of big me down. I'm not that bad. I'm not that crazy, but we're gonna they're gonna give me a free check, which I needed because I would have died in the woods. Sorry, being so morbid. Morbid by nature, but not in a gothic way. That's goths pretend to be morbid, but goth girls, back in the past, goth girls are the most beautiful women on the planet. It got watered down, but oh man, the whole Morticia Adams look was there. They didn't want to die, but they always melancholy, and they all smoked really well. And they were all out of my league because I always ended up with pretty normal women. Never ended up with punk rock girls. Never did. And I was a punk. Normal people. Must have been doing something wrong. I was the bad boy. Which I was. I was a very bad boy. Brought them on themselves. No, it's not their fault, but yeah, kind of is. I used to warn women. I'm a terrible human being. I'm warning you right now. If you're in a relationship with me, you're in trouble. I can handle it, and they couldn't. I wasn't doing it on purpose. Well, I should have not been in relationships because I was going to drink forever. Well, I don't drink now. But, Noctis, that's all you can do. That's all that matters in this world. I think, yeah, Noctis, I really appreciate you too. Shut up at just the right time, buddy. Yeah. I don't even know you're male or female. I'm assuming you're male. I can't see the little picture. It doesn't matter. Gender. Don't care. Yeah. We're doing the right thing, Noctis, and other people read it. They probably benefit, hopefully, or benefit each other. If we straighten each other out a little bit and cheer each other up, or it'll straighten our thought. I'm a dude. Okay, Noctis. Well, doesn't matter either way. But it just your sentence formation was pretty male. Is English your second language, or is your Portuguese? That language, oh boy, I can get a gist of a lot of languages, but Portuguese is very, very different. But the odds of me going to Portugal or Brazil are pretty much. I mean, these are a couple other places with Portuguese is still spoken. I heard Brazil is supposed to be a pretty scary place. Not dissing it, but. Noctis, you're doing a really good job. You're doing good work. Yeah. I should have picked up Spanish. I live in essentially a Mexican town, Mexican neighborhood here in California. And I would never live anywhere but a Mexican neighborhood now because Mexicans are my favorite people. And they're also the most imperiled people in the United States, which makes me very furious. Mexican flag. Yeah, there for a reason. Yes. You know, I've never had a problem in Mexican neighborhoods ever. Yeah, they can be pretty dangerous. They usually kill each other and kill civilians. They don't shoot. They never shoot tall, weird-looking white guys who have no money because what's the point? If I go to the store, people are smiling and everything else, even if they don't speak any English. They're nice to me. I go to Santa Cruz, which I live nearby. The fancy white people glare at me. They don't want me to live. They can tell I'm poor. They can just sense my poorness, and they don't like poverty. They hate it. They pretend in a liberal way to, feel for the poor, but they'll never want to talk to one. At least I get nods and smiles from the Mexicans, and they know I'm a weirdo, but it doesn't matter. I'm kind of a decorative weirdo. Like, oh, I haven't seen one of those on. I don't think that. By the way, I've returned back to my stereotypical beatnik self because I was a huge fan of the Beat Generation, did my study and whatnot. Why not be a stereotype? That's a good stereotype. Berets. If you don't have a beret knock, just get one. Put it on. You'll feel better about life. And then Ozzy glasses, because not for John Lennon, it's for Ozzy. Yeah, shake it for Ozzy. I don't think you know what King Cobra JFS is. Look up King Cobra JFS. He's a great American. He's one of the weirdest human beings on earth. Find his first documentary, and you'll see stuff, a part of the United States you've never seen. That I've been exposed to is it's a subculture unto itself. I understand it. I love it. Some people just don't get it. A lot of Americans just are repelled by King Cobra JFS. My ex just hates him. I was part of the King Cobra JFS cult for a while. I'm going to return to that because this channel basically started out from King Cobra JFS just because it was so funny. Parody and satire. It evolves into what we're doing right now. But it goes back. A lot of people on this channel are King Cobra cultists because he's hilarious. King Cobra Japanese. Cobra's just great. He's one of the funniest and sweetest human beings in the world, but he's a complete dope. He's a doofus. But he's not that stupid. Not just as never. People are always going to hate the poor if you're not poor. And there's a lot of self-hating poor people. A lot of people just aspire to the middle class. I don't see the point. We should all have decent shelter, decent food, and a little bit of extra money and medical care. And that should be guaranteed. But if you want to do better, you want to make more money, go for it. Yeah. But that's your sacrifice. The Catholic Church has always taught that you shouldn't work yourself to death, and there's a lot to be learned from poverty, and everybody should eat. I don't see how this is people just don't get it. And I go to one channel, I'm not going to mention it, it's just nothing but mostly middle-class women, and they're really cool. I use them as a study, because I didn't understand what they were about. Now I do, and I'm friends there, but I feel like I'm a spy because they don't understand anything of what I do. Like, case in point, I like to make a split pea soup. I understand that the British like that. Peas, I like peas. But you need a ham hock in there. And I can't afford those. Anything ham or pork is beyond my means. And by the way, I'm not a vegetarian, but by necessity, I get meat when I get it, but they don't understand that. No. And I make really nutritious, wonderful food, and I don't need that. Kind of a monk in some ways, and I like monk food, very simple, sustaining food, and it's also the cheapest food you can eat in the world. In the United States, a lot of middle-class people will say that, well, poor people, they can't afford real good food, so that's why they eat fast food. That's bullshit. You can make sustaining food much cheaper than fast food, which Steph, I eat fast food maybe once every 2 months, and I love it, but it's not really food. It's a drug, and grew up. I never have soda pop in my house, but boy, I go to my ex's house. I'm guzzling the Dr Pepper. I don't not just understand that people in the UK do not understand Dr Pepper. It's a noble soda pop. It's the best.
Love was nearly lost until Pizza Hut showed
Come on.
up. All right, Peter. Starting at $12.99, Pizza Hut is hooking everyone up with more of what they love.
Sorry about this
Four
one.
large Hut Lovers pizzas, like the new spicy Hawaiian lovers, starting at $12.99.
I don't even remember this song. I don't even know if I had the album. I heard it about left. I used to go to university parties, actually small college parties, and mooch booze from them. And they didn't like me, but they were really afraid of me because when I was in the early 80s, kind of a skinhead. Not racist, but I was. Skinheads were, for the most part, weren't not racist back in the day, but they became that way. I'm stupid, but I was just, just scary street people. And the only people we went after is heavy metalers, called them Hessians. For some reason, they were the enemy. Oh, that's right. They were all thieves and drug dealers. They really were. They were destroying our sound. We're doing them a favor by beating them up, but the cops never understood that and I left. Dr. Pepper, again, I go to my ex's house like once a month maybe, and she always has a 6-pack of Dr. Pepper. And I'll eat chocolate and junk food there every time, but not here. I just don't get it. I don't take it here just because I don't want it. Yeah, and I've lost about 50 pounds over the last year and a half just by not eating crap. I like being fat. I accidentally became not fat, and that was an accident. I moved in the mirror and I'm not fat anymore. Donnie Pooh, how you doing, sweetheart? I'm glad you showed up. Noctis is one of my new amigo, Don. He's a great guy. Noctis is cool. Oh, he has a wrench, so you can tell. And Dr. Pepper's the best. Dr. Pepper was developed before Coca-Cola about a year. And it's the official beverage of Texas. I liked it when I was a little kid. I drank it, and everybody said it's carbonated prune juice. No, it wasn't. I liked it. And was a staunch fan, still am. Oh, Don, I'm sorry. Love to your mom from Skill. No, that's terrible. She gonna be okay? That falling and being old is a bad combination. When I fall, I tend to bounce. Well, no. Hence my gimped out Rexed arm, right arm, and I think Don comes from a good family, which is good for Don. I'm happy for you. I didn't care that much when my mom died. And I hate to say it, but it was, I talked to her religiously before the last year, but I'm a jerk. But when my dog died, still, I'm mourning about my dog. Don. Family means different things to other people, and some people have good families. I just haven't met very families I identify with, but whatever. I didn't have a good family, so I had a family, but I tried to love them. I tried to like them, but that wore out. I have one brother I talk to. I mean, he's affluent. He keeps asking me, "Can I buy you something?" I don't want anything. You want an e-bike? No, I don't like bicycles. He's pissed off that I don't ask him for stuff. You know, I never have. Give me $50 for my birthday. Sounds great. Yeah, yeah. Well, I think Don knows how beat up I was about my doggy. My dog was my life. Is the only thing that ever made me happy, and that I knew it wasn't going to last. So I haven't been really happy since. I don't. And happiness is overrated anyway. And I was only happy with him, and I only saw him like once a week. But I was really happy when I was with him. Just happened with my boy. I'm with my boy. My boy and I we're together. That's what matters. Me, my boy. My boy. I love you, boy. He loved his dad. So, case in point, my ex moved out of state, and I didn't have my dog for 5 years. She thought that, well, he'd forget me. Well, when we ran into each other, he tackled me and kissed me all over the place. And he was thrilled. I was thrilled. Middle of a park, or wrestling with each other, knocking people over. And, forgive us, we're having a moment. They were laughing. That dog loves you. He's my boy. He's my son. I raised him from a pup. Yep. Animals are the best people, Don. Cyril, my dog, used to tell him, "You're the best person I've ever met. You're my favorite person, and you're a dog, so it makes it even better." That was my mantra. He seemed to like that. He being a dog, he liked being a dog. He was very good at it. Smart boy. Very smart dog. What are we going to listen to now? Oof. That little rockabilly on my way out. Gene Bloody Vincent. I don't know if anybody's seen Quadrophenia. If you haven't seen Quadrophenia, you need to. Oops, sorry. Quadrophenia explains early 60s Britain better than any other movie ever could. So well made. Great movie. Weird love story, scenes, but Sting's in it. I don't like Sting, but he's great in that movie. What a great song! Oh, that's right. I only play good music because I know my music. After this song, I'm gonna sign off, but it's good to be here. Been ages. I was hoping Wander would show up, but well, maybe she's mad at me, or maybe she's busy. Could be busy. She has a mysterious life that seems like a lot of work in her life. 999 is missing. I think she's homeless at this point. Well, I can email her, so I can do that. God, great song. You want to sign off now because I'm out of steam. Thanks for being here, Don. I love you. And Noctis, thank you for being here. And whoever has been auditing this, thank you for being here. Yeah, I'm back when I'm back. See how it goes. See how my sanity. Yeah, I'll be right. Well, no, just thank you for being my new friend. Yeah, you're all right. You're a delightful surprise, buddy. My new Portuguese friend. I don't think I've ever had a Portuguese friend. Take care.